In the chapters that follow, I will offer a series of choices that go beyond open or closed. I'll begin by explaining the danger America faces if we don't find a way to return to the melting pot. I will then argue that we need to see immigration through a multi-generational lens. Policies that might make sense if we were indifferent to the fate of the children of immigrants won't make sense when we recognize that our future hinges on those later generations' well-being. In Chapter 3, I describe the process of assimilation. Right now, immigrants and the children of immigrants represent roughly 25% of the U.S. population, a number set to rise considerably. And if anything, this number understates the cultural and political transformation to come, as many newcomers are quite young. How will these young Americans understand their place in the world? I contrast two different paths: amalgamation, in which second-generation Americans are fully incorporated into society's mainstream through ties of friendship and kinship, and racialization, in which they are relegated to second-class status. Racialization, I will argue, isn't just bad for the newcomers who bear the brunt of their own marginalization. It risks sparking a fearsome backlash from established Americans. Next, I consider the long-term economic consequences of immigration. Its chief impact is not on the wages of native-born workers or on the raw size of the economy, though those issues tend to transfix people on both sides of the debate. Rather, at high enough levels, low-skill immigration affects the average skill level of the workforce, which in turn can encourage the de-engineering of the economy. Limits on low-skill immigration, in contrast, tend to spur offshoring and automation. Given widespread robophobia and anti-trade sentiment, many Americans would much prefer business models that rely on low-wage, low-skill labor over those built on high-wage, high-skill labor augmented by foreigners and increasingly intelligent machines. This, I will argue, is a serious mistake. I also suggest ways Americans can continue to invest in making the world outside America better, even while limiting immigration. The prescriptions I lay out are, frankly, pretty demanding, not just of government, but of all of us as citizens. We should admit immigrants only if we are fully committed to their integration and assimilation. Our number one priority should be ensuring that new arrivals and their loved ones can flourish as part of the American mainstream, not turning a blind eye as millions languish in poverty-stricken ghettos. That means fostering economic opportunity and a more inclusive American cultural identity. It means resisting class stratification and ethnic balkanization. The overall rate of immigration, the cultural and social capital immigrants bring with them, and the skills composition of the immigrant influx as a whole all contribute to our chances of achieving this ambitious goal. Ultimately, I want a country that does right by all of its citizens. America has been through challenging periods before, when it seemed as though the discontent of masses of urban immigrants might overturn the established order, and when older natives and younger newcomers were locked in cultural combat. Yet in earlier generations, at least some of our leaders had the wisdom to make the sacrifices necessary to knit a divided country back together. Just as the New Dealers found a way to unite the children of immigrants in smokestack cities with the descendants of settlers and the enslaved, we need to connect the fortunes of immigrant-rich communities like the ones where I was raised, and the heartland, where coastal diversity is often looked on with suspicion. As the historian Azar Gott has observed, most people are loyal first to immediate kin and then to larger kinship groups, like a clan or a tribe. The nations that have endured have done so by functioning as vastly extended kinship groups, whether literally, in the case of nations bound together by a shared belief in common descent, or figuratively, in the case of nations bound together by a shared belief in a common destiny. Over time, nations united by a common destiny tend to evolve into nations united by common descent. Inherited ethnic and cultural distinctions fade, and new hybrid ethnicities and cultures emerge. Not too long ago, we Americans referred to this process as the melting pot, and we need it back, badly.